Namaste, and welcome to my virtual yoga studio here on YouTube. As always, I am really grateful to share practice with you in this way, and just want to say thank you for being in community with me. So as I film this, we just had this wild harvest moon on Friday the 13th, so the air was just like supercharged, the energy was all over the place. And we're also moving toward fall, which it does not feel like fall where I live yet. It's still very hot, but that feeling of shift and transformation is in the air. Things are moving around. And in Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga, and really it's a part of the system of yoga, it is the scientific, holistic wellness component of yoga. But in Ayurveda, the fall is associated with Vata. And the concept of Vata is the wind element. It's all about movement, wind, the air is moving, the leaves are changing. So it's just this idea that everything is really shifting and transforming. So that's where I'm at right now. So I've really been feeling called to ground, to get really grounded. And whether you're doing this practice in the fall or not, it's just really important to do grounding practices because we spend a lot of our lives really disconnected from the earth. We are boxed in the office, in our houses, in our cars. We, interact with all these synthetic surfaces, rubber shoes, rubber mats. And time and again, both scientific studies and anecdotal evidence has shown that we can really heal when we get back to that fundamental connection with nature, and we can really just create a sense of ease and well-being as opposed to this general sense of unease that a lot of us live with. So grounding is a really important practice no matter what season you're in. And so we're going to do a grounding yoga series today. Before we get started, you may want to have some props. A couple of blocks would be good. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can just use a book or two. We probably want two. So a couple of books or anything else that is rectangular and solid for support. You also may want to have a blanket for padding and support. You can use a blanket or a towel or anything like that works. So we're going to begin standing today. So if you would come to stand, however you need to get there. And if it feels okay, I'm going to invite you to step off of your yoga mat if you're using one. So one of the most simple and powerful grounding practices is just to put your feet on the earth. So say you're at the office or you're at home and you just, take a couple minutes to step outside and put your feet on the earth. Already you are just reconnecting to that sense of steadiness and the natural rhythm of nature. So sometimes it's nice to step off the yoga mat and onto a natural surface. So I'm in my basement and this floor is cement. So it's made of rock, it's made of the earth. You might be on wood floors. Wood is also made of the earth. But even if you don't have a natural surface to stand on, even if you're standing on the carpet, just that act of stepping off the mat, putting your feet on the ground is immensely grounding, and that's what we're going for. So we're going to stand with the feet a little wider than the hips, toes pointing straight forward, hooking the toes into the earth, so already pressing our feet down. The feet are this powerful tool for grounding that we'll be using throughout this practice. And then you're going to bend and straighten your knees a couple times just to get buoyant in the knees. Then come to stillness with your knees unlocked. So this nice flow of energy in the legs. So the first practice we're going to do together is technically not a yoga practice. It comes from Taoism, but many of these Eastern traditions have similar intentions, which are just to shift our energy around a little bit so that we have a greater sense of connection and well-being. So this Taoist practice is called flowing tree, and it is a grounding practice. And what you're going to do is take your arms just straight out in front of you. As you inhale, imagine you could lead with the creases of your wrists as your arms float up. As you exhale, lead with the creases of your wrists as your arms float down. That's it. Inhaling through your nose. Exhaling through your nose. Inhaling, arms float up. Exhaling, arms float down. Even as you begin to move, noticing your feet on the ground. Beginning to create some mindfulness by connecting your body movements to the flow of your breath. So the visual that goes along with this practice is one that I love so much as a tree-hugging hippie lady. You want to imagine that you are stroking a tree. So just embrace it. Just get weird. Just picture your favorite tree and imagine that you could lovingly and lightly run your fingertips up and down its bark, feeling that natural surface of the tree and just connecting with that flowing energy of life that starts at the roots and moves toward the sky. Beautiful. Just connecting with that natural rhythm of the earth that is a part of you as well. As you inhale, energy flows up. Exhale, energy flows down. We're going to do this 3 more times. Last one. Then you allow your arms to rest lightly by your sides, your palms turned forward, thumbs turned back toward you as your heart lifts, your shoulders relax backward. Knees stay unlocked, jaw stays soft, and perhaps you close your eyes. Another immensely grounding practice is just to check in, to observe how you're doing. It really grounds you into the present moment. So we'll do that here. Just noticing your feet. Where are your big toes, your pinky toes, your heels? How does the earth feel up against your feet? Noticing that steady rhythm of your breath, that nostril breath to soothe the nervous system. Noticing your body. How does your body feel today? No judgment for whatever the answer is, just observing. Noticing how that practice landed in your body. How did that grounding, flowing tree practice make you feel? All of these observations to help us fully arrive for this grounding yoga practice. As you complete your next exhale, blink your eyes open. Just shake out your body a little bit, move it, and then we're going to come back to the mat. We're going to begin in a child's pose, so come on down. I'll invite you to bring your knees as wide as the yoga mat. Bring your big toes to touch. Sink your hips back to or toward your heels. Walk your forehead down to or toward the mat with your arms extending out in front of you, palms on the mat. Adaptations for child's pose. Feel free to take a blanket and place it on top of your heels if that helps create more grounding if your hips don't quite reach your heels on their own. Similarly, you can bring a block underneath your forehead if you'd like to bring the earth a little closer to you. I'm going to come out of my child's pose so that you can hear me as I speak, but you stay in your child's pose, just bowing toward the earth for a few breaths. Again, observing, noticing your body. We're going to lightly press the palms down and forward as the hips sink down and back, lengthening the spine and opening in the low back. We're going to lightly draw the armpits away from the earth in child's pose to start to engage the shoulder blades. The hips are also opening in this pose, so you notice your low body as well. Again, you come back to noticing the breath. Our breath is going to be our number one grounding tool throughout this practice, for it is always with us and always provides a pathway to bring us back into our experience of the present moment. Just connecting with that rhythm of your breath. And for just these final breaths, notice your forehead on the block or on the earth. The yogis called the forehead the third eye, the place of wisdom and intuition, so it's as if you could connect with that innate wisdom of the earth that is also present within you too. Okay, from here I'm going to invite you, if it feels good, to come up onto your fingertips. So bring your fingertips to the mat, lift your palms and round them, press your fingertips down and forward as you continue to press your hips down and back. Lift your arm bones away from the mat, hug your shoulder blades toward each other, and then imagine you could sink your forehead and even your chest down toward the mat. Your forehead might not touch, your chest probably won't touch, but it's just that practice of beginning to open the shoulders and create length in the upper body. Excellent. Deep breath in here. And exhale. Plant your palms on the mat, and as you inhale next, come up to your hands and knees. You can clear your mat of props if you'd like, but we'll have them close by. So from our hands and knees, we're going to begin to take some vinyasa sequences. And a vinyasa is just when we link a series of poses together. But for this practice, we're going to keep it a little more chill. We're going to adapt it a little bit so that we stay close to the earth and we just get into that steady but easy rhythm. And when I say easy, I don't mean that it's not challenging. I mean that we feel a sense of ease. So that's what we're going for here. So on your next inhale, from hands and knees, walk your knees backwards so that they are now behind your hips. Your legs come out at a diagonal from your hips. Then shift your shoulders forward so that they are back over your wrists. Point your index fingers straight toward the top of the mat. Spread the rest of your fingers nice and wide and press your index fingers down. Lower your hips a little more toward the mat, but lift in your belly button. Kneeling plank pose, just creating a little heat. You got it. Deep breath in. Exhale. On your next inhale, roll your shoulders backward. As you exhale, bend your elbows, lower your chest, lower your belly, press the tops of your feet down. Then we're going to come up. So come up onto your elbows, bring your forearms straight out in front of your elbows on the mat for Sphinx pose. Little belly down, heart opener here. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Lightly engage your glutes to protect your low back. Then, press your elbows down. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other as you lift your heart. Breathe. Belly down breaths. You notice how your belly expands and contracts against the earth as you breathe. You enjoy that sensation of really opening your upper back. We typically round our backs so much, texting, driving, typing, all that. So just reset in your upper back. Good. Deep breath in. As you exhale, lower down. Hands under your shoulders. Inhale, press up to your hands and knees. Exhale, sink back. Child's pose. This is effectively our downward facing dog for this sequence. So we're trying to lengthen the spine in this pose, just like we would if we were in a down dog. So we press the hands forward. We sink the hips back. Good. And then you bow forward. Give yourself time to reconnect to your breath, grounding back into your own experience. Then on an inhale, rise back up to your hands and knees. As you exhale, walk your knees back behind your hips, shift your shoulders over your wrists, lower your hips, but lift your belly, kneeling plank. You got it. Deep breath in. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, elbows to the mat, lift your heart, Sphinx pose. We're gonna go through this flow just a couple more times. So heart is lifted, belly is down, connecting to that grounding sense of being on the earth as we breathe. Okay, inhale here. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up to hands and knees. Exhale, sit back. Child's pose. Again, bowing to the earth, bowing to your own experience, connecting to the breath. All right, last time, inhale, rise up, hands and knees. Exhale, walk your knees back. Shift your shoulders over your wrists, kneeling plank. Beautiful. Deep breath in, roll those shoulders back. Exhale, bend your elbows and lower down. Inhale, Sphinx, rise on up. Feel your belly press into the Mother Earth as you breathe in. Navel to spine as you exhale, just expanding and releasing in that natural cycle. Beautiful. All right, deep breath in. Exhale, lower down. As you inhale, rise up to your hands and knees. And this time we're going gonna stay in our tabletop. So you're gonna center your shoulders over your wrists, your knees over your hips, and we're gonna keep that flow and rhythm going with some cat-cow. So inhale, belly toward the earth. Lift your tailbone, lift your heart, lift your chin. Exhale, round your low back, mid back, and upper back, navel to spine, chin to chest. Now please move with your breath. Inhaling to lift your heart, stretch the front of your body forward. Exhale to round your back, press the back of your heart to the sky. Now you get into your own rhythm. You create that sense of connection by linking your body and breath together. You start to feel your shoulders gliding up and down on your back, lubricating shoulder joints. Your core begins to engage as we pull navel to spine. You begin to imagine space along every vertebrae of your spine. Just waking up and really getting into our own bodies. That's a really grounding practice as well. Beautiful. Please take your 3 deepest breaths as we finish out this round of cat-cow. Last one. Exhale. As you inhale, bring your spine back to neutral. Press your left hand firmly into the mat. On our next inhale, we're gonna lift that right arm to the sky. So we're twisting open. Shoulders move back as the heart moves forward. Your right hip will wanna really open. See if you can press it back toward the mat. Pull your belly button toward your spine like cat pose and turn from your belly. Yes, inhale, reach. As you exhale, thread your right arm underneath you. Right cheek, right ear, right shoulder, come to the mat. We're threading the needle. Excellent. So from here, notice how your left hip, again, really wants to kind of pull forward. Pull it back in line with your right, so your hips are square. Imagine you could take your bottom arm and press it down into the mat and drag it backward. Just a thought to engage your right shoulder blade. At the same time, pull your left shoulder blade backward. Squeeze those shoulders toward each other. We're in a twist, so the shoulders are engaged, side body is getting long, spine is getting long. Now can you return to your breath and just ground yourself into the experience of it all? All right, inhale, press your right hand down, press your left hand down. We're gonna unwind, reach that right arm back toward the sky. Notice if you have a little more space to open in your twist. Then as you exhale, lower that right hand back to the earth. Inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky. Notice how your left hip wants to open, press it toward the mat, turn from your belly, and twist. Yes, exhale. Thread that left arm underneath you. Bring your left cheek, left ear, left shoulder to the mat. You may feel a chiropractic adjustment as you do so. Threading the needle. Yes, draw your right hip back, right shoulder back. Left arm presses into the mat and drags backward. So the shoulders are hugging toward each other. Side body is lengthening, spine is getting long. We breathe and experience it all. Yeah. Okay, inhale, press that right hand down, unwind, reach that left arm up. Notice you have some more space. Exhale, left hand comes down. We're back on our hands and knees. All right, moving from the upper body to the low body a little bit. Take an inhale, extend your right leg straight out behind you. Again, the right hip will want to open. Resist that by turning your right hip point toward the mat. Then squeeze your leg to lift your leg. Now draw your navel toward your spine a little to keep that core engagement. Good, stay right here, just work the leg and the belly, or press some extra strength into your right fingertips. Inhale, send your left arm forward. So opposite arm, opposite leg. You could also just come onto your left fingertips if that works better. We're gonna start by hugging everything in. So you tone the belly, you plug your left shoulder blade backward into the socket, squeeze everything in towards center, then reach out strong from there. Yes. It's always interesting to play with grounding when we take limbs away. So grounding and balance. Okay, release that. Beautiful. Second side, as you're ready, inhale, left leg comes back. Square your hip, squeeze your leg, navel to spine. Everything is turned on. Stay right here or come onto your right fingertips or reach that right arm forward. Again, the arm is gonna reach forward, but your shoulder blade plugs in backward. That's it. Toning the belly, squeezing everything in, then reaching out and expanding from that place of strength. Yes, pressing into your left fingertips so the weight's not all in your wrists. Noticing where's your hand, where's your knee? What is keeping you grounded to the earth? Okay, nice work. Release. All right, from here we're gonna transition into our first lunge of the practice. So this might be where you wanna have blocks and blankets handy. So to come into this lunge pose, you're gonna walk both hands toward the right hand corner of your mat, round your back like cat pose, squeeze your butt for stability. Then we're gonna step this left foot forward. That might take 1 step, it might take 10. You might have to kind of use your hand to help your foot forward, that's okay. Coming forward, the hands are gonna frame the foot. So you'll take your fingertips to either side of this left foot, untuck your right toes. This may be where you'd like to place blocks underneath your hands as a practice for lengthening your arms. It's a good idea. Now, low lunge. We're gonna stay here for a moment, allowing the hips and quads to open. So I have a lot of alignment cues for you here in a lunge pose, but just know that you can take what works for you and leave the rest. Start by squaring your right hip forward, your left hip back. Press your left foot into the earth, all 5 toes. Feel that really powerful sensation of engaging with the earth beneath you. Notice how it starts to engage your hips. Yeah. Imagine you could take that front foot, drag it backward. At the same time, take your back knee, drag it forward, like you could suction energy up from the earth. Yes. Now, extend your heart forward. Let your shoulders slide back, spine gets long. That's it. And again, even here, we bring the breath back into it so that we can fully be in our own experience. That is the essence of grounding. So feel free to stay right here with your hands on your blocks or the mat, or take an inhale, reach your arms up. For balance, press your left foot down, squeeze your glutes, square those hips, and keep squeezing your legs toward each other, towards center, to keep you balanced. This is a heart opener, so let your shoulders slide back and down as your heart lifts. Palms face each other as you reach for some space. Now you can do this as a movement or just as a thought. Sink your tailbone down and forward as you bend into that left knee. Open that left hip, that right quad. Excellent. And even here, the breath brings us back. Deep breath in and exhale, touch down. One more place to go. We're gonna take a twist. Keep your right hand under your shoulder using the block or not. Take your left hand either to your hip or reach your left arm to the sky as you open your chest toward that left knee. Just like we practiced earlier, your legs stay solid. You squeeze your legs in toward each other. You bring your belly toward your spine so you can twist from your rib cage as your heart opens, your spine lengthens. Okay, deep breath in, reach for space. Keep pressing into your left foot as you exhale, then touch down. We're just gonna take this left foot, slide it back. Coming back to hands and knees, setting props to the sides. Take just a moment in your tabletop and notice. For me, my left knee feels like it is heavier on the earth. My left leg feels more grounded because I've opened my hip. Just see what you notice. Use that observation to really bring you here. Then when you're ready, walk your hands to the left side of your mat, round your back. With 1 step or 10, step your right foot forward. Bend into your right knee. Frame your foot with your hands. lunge. All right, square your left hip forward and your right hip back. Press your right foot into the earth. Not only does it get us grounded, it works the hip. Squeeze your front foot and your back knee toward each other. Again, it gives us more access to the legs, but it's also like suctioning energy up from the earth beneath us. Then lengthen your spine. Heart forward. Beautiful. Bring your breath into it. Bring yourself into it. All right, stay right here or take an inhale. Reach your arms up. Anjaneyasana. Low lunge. Hips are square. Right foot is pressing down. We're squeezing the glutes, all for stability. Heart moves forward as the shoulders move back. Then maybe the tailbone moves down and forward. You can move or just think about it. It's the same work. Reaching for space as you pour yourself into the pose with your own breath. Beautiful. Okay, touch down and we twist. Left hand under your shoulder, right hand either to your hip or right arm reaches for the sky. I'm gonna take a little less height under my hand. You decide what you need. Again, twist from your belly. Your right knee is gonna wanna kind of splay out to the right, so hug your legs in toward each other. And then from that space of strength, lengthen, open, and breathe. Good. Okay, touch down. Slide your right foot back to meet your left, coming to hands and knees. Set your props to the sides. This time, walk your hands forward so that they're in front of your shoulders. Press those pointer fingers down and spread the rest of your fingers wide. Inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, press back with your hands, lift your hips, downward facing dog. All right. So before we get into the alignment of this pose, let's just move. Bend your left knee. Press your right heel to the mat. Right heel gets heavy as the back of that right leg opens. And then switch. Back of the left leg opens. Good. Switch again. Switch one more time. Then come to stillness. This is an immensely grounding pose, both hands and feet on the earth. So press your hands forward as if you could press the mat away from you. Just like you did in child's pose, lift your armpits and squeeze your shoulders toward each other. Release your ears between your arms so your neck stays long. At the same time, tilt your tailbone toward the ceiling. Press your hips and thighs back. Good. Now the tendency here is to kind of collapse in the ribs to get your chest to kind of melt, but draw your navel toward your spine to keep that stability. Now we're going to stay in that space of strength as we inhale, lift the right leg up toward the sky. All three of your other limbs are still grounded, so hands press forward. Left heel stays heavy. Then we're going to open the right hip. My glasses are going to come off. All right, we're opening the right hip. So bend your right knee. Pull your heel in toward your butt. Then reach your right knee, right hip toward the ceiling like a little scorpion tail. At the same time, turn your right armpit toward the mat to square your shoulders. Press your hands forward. Excellent. Deep breath in. Exhale, release. You got it. If you need to come down for a second and reset, you can. Then when you're ready, we're coming back up. Down dog, hands forward, hips back. Then inhale, left leg comes up. Ground through your hands and your standing foot. Then open the hip, heel toward your butt. Hip and knee reach for the sky. It's like you could stack your left hip on top of your right, but keep pressing your hands forward. Turn your left armpit toward the mat so your shoulders are square. Good. Okay, release that left leg. Whew. Look forward, bend your knees, tiptoe forward. We're going to end up in a standing forward fold at the top of the yoga mat. So your knees are bent in your forward fold. It's a spine stretch. So we're going to bring the ribs to the thighs. That is what really helps us stretch the back body. So worry more about ribs to thighs than perfectly straight legs. Good. Release your shoulders. Let the top of your head hang heavy. And we're grounding here. So where are your toes? Where are your heels? Press your heels down and apart to start to widen in your sits bones.
Lift your hips toward the ceiling, even with your knees bent to stretch your thighs, your tailbone. Then imagine that cat pose in your belly as you lightly draw navel to spine to pull yourself into the fold. Good. Forward folds are about drawing yourself into yourself. So just turn inward for just a moment as we ground back into the feet, into the breath. Okay. On your next inhale, press into your feet, tone your belly, reach all the way up to the sky. We're going to come to a standing arch. So squeeze your glutes a little, press your feet into that Mother Earth, press your hips forward a little. At the same time, roll your shoulders back, curl in your upper back like that Sphinx pose, and lift your heart. It might be a baby back bend so small that you can barely see it. It might be more pronounced. Either way, we want it happening not in the low back, so not butt sticking out, rather tailbone drawing in a little, upper back, heart is lifted. Yes, okay, inhale, reach. As you exhale, bend your knees a little or a lot, fold forward. Inhale, we're gonna half lift, lengthen to a flat or flattish back, crown of the head forward as the tailbone reaches back. Exhale, fold forward. Excellent. Okay, inhale, reach it all the way up, standing arch, hips forward, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward. We're starting to move with the breath. So inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, standing arch, lift your heart, feel yourself suspended between the earth and sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Even as we move, can you notice your feet? Can you notice your breath? Inhale, standing arch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, standing arch. Heart to the sky, feet firmly grounded to your Mother Earth. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Pause. Notice even as you get still, the energy continues to move. Things are shifting. Then this time we're gonna bend the knees deeply, tone the belly, and one vertebrae at a time, like smoke rolling off of a sacred fire. We're gonna roll upright. Shoulders, neck, and head roll up last. It's called a Dhumavati rise. Dhumavati is the goddess of smoke, so it's just about rolling with the fire of your own transformation. Okay, we're standing up. Hope everybody is okay. We're gonna do a little balancing here. So balancing is a grounding practice in that it takes one foot away, so we really have to ground through the standing leg. So please come to stand in your favorite spot on the mat or on the floor to balance. Then you're gonna heel toe your feet in close so that they're touching or close to touching. Then lift all 10 toes, and one toe at a time from pinky to big toe. Just hook your toes into the earth. You can bring your hands to your hips for right now. Unlock your knees here, but keep doing that little navel to spine action. And if that makes no sense to you, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So when I'm not drawing my navel to spine, I'm kind of collapsing, my butt's sticking out, I have my ribs kind of exploding a little bit. When I pull my navel to spine, it's as if I'm just drawing all of that back in to one steady line. So it's not like sucking in. Sucking in is like trying to make myself smaller. This is just trying to make myself one line of energy. So finding that, hands to hips, feet close. Then close your eyes for just a second. So already when we bring our feet close together like this, we are balancing. The thinner or shorter our stance, I should say, the more we have to balance. The wider stance, the more support we have. So already you're in a balancing pose. And with your eyes closed here, just notice. Notice what's happening. For me, I'm noticing I'm not still at all. I'm moving a lot. And that's fine. That is my body looking for equilibrium. So just notice those little movements as your body kind of moves toward balance. Continue to notice your feet on the earth, that ultimate grounding practice. Notice your breath
as you breathe here. Also, that ultimate grounding practice. Okay, so just playing with it a little, now we're gonna blink the eyes open. Shift a little weight into your left foot, then bend your right knee and lift your right knee off the mat. Or excuse me, lift your right foot off the mat. So your foot might just be hovering. You might even still have your toes on the mat. You might lift your foot a little higher. You might move around between all of those different variations. You might move around a lot, and again, that's great. That is part of the balancing practice. So let yourself move as you play with your own balance. You can keep your standing leg bent the whole time and just press into that left big toe. Maybe find yourself a focal point, a drishti, to steady your body by steadying your eyes. Maybe take your arms out by your sides if that helps you kind of feel the space and balance. If you want to get really funky with it, maybe close your eyes and see what happens. And when you're ready, you can release that. Shake it out a little bit. Then bring your feet close again. This time shift some weight into your right foot. Bend your left knee and lift your left foot. It can hover, it can be toes on the mat, it can lift a little higher. You can move around. You can bend your standing knee. Just press your right big toe into the mat. Maybe find your focal point. Maybe take your arms out. Maybe close your eyes and see what happens. Okay, release that when you're ready and shake it out. All right, from here, come back to the top of the mat. You may want to make sure that your blocks are on either side of your mat. Take an inhale, reach those arms up. As you exhale, dive forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, and then step your right toes all the way toward the back of the mat. Bend your left knee so that it is either on top of or just behind your ankle, not past your ankle, please. That's just a hyperextension. It's a little too much pressure in the joint. So we're coming back to this lunge, but this time a high lunge. So the back knee is lifted if you can. Take the muscles of your right leg, press them toward the sky. Strengthen that back leg. Press that left foot into the mat. Where are your feet? How are they helping you stay strong and steady? This pose is all about grounding, all about strength. So again, you hug your legs toward each other. You send your heart forward. You pour yourself into it with the breath. Okay, from here, stay right where you are, or again, inhale, reach those arms up. It's the same thing we did earlier, just playing around with it a little bit. Your back leg is your best friend in this pose, so strengthen that back leg. Square those hips, lift your heart. Beautiful. Can we breathe even here? Deep breath in, exhale, touch down. All right, you know where we're going. Right hand stays under the shoulder. Inhale, left arm reaches up. We take a twist. Shoulders back, heart forward. Back leg stays really strong. We press into all four corners of the left foot. We ground, we open the hip. Very nice. Deep breath in and reach. Exhale, touch down. Bend your right knee a little bit. Inhale, step that right foot forward. Exhale into your fold. Whew. And again, this practice of observing, notice the conversation that your left leg is having versus your right. Left leg is a little more alive, not a judgment, we're just noticing. Now we're gonna inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, step that left foot back. Bend your right knee to or toward a square. Find that power in your back leg as you press it toward the sky. Your back leg is your best friend in this pose. It keeps all the weight from being totally in your front leg. Okay, hug your legs toward each other like you could pull energy up from the earth. Send your heart forward. Breathe. Okay, stay right here or squeeze your glutes. Press into that right foot. Reach up. Crescent lunge. Back leg is so strong. Heart is lifting. Oh yeah. Can we breathe even here? Which is another way of saying, can we be conscious even here? Okay, touch down, twist. Inhale, right arm lifts. Turn toward your right knee. From your belly, keep your back leg straight and strong. Press into all four corners of that right foot. Ground and open. Beautiful. All right, touch down. This time, slide your props to the sides if you're using them. Plant your hands, and again, step back. Downward facing dog. So this pose, this grounding pose where all of our limbs are on the earth, it's a great place to notice as you drive your hands forward, your hips back. Notice how this pose has transformed in your body over the course of your practice. Ground yourself by observing your own experience. And then exhale, lower onto your knees. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Whew. I'm on a cement floor, so I'm getting like pieces of cement and dirt in my hair, so I'm super grounded right now. All right, so finding your way onto your belly. Some of my very favorite grounding practices are belly down back bends. Just because it's like the belly's on the earth, the heart is on the earth, we're down in it. We're getting really connected. Whew, just gotta catch my breath. All right, so that's what we're doing here. And we've already done a belly down back bend. You did your Sphinx pose earlier. It's the same energy. We're just gonna approach it in a slightly different way. So come all the way down. Bring your arms down by your sides with the backs of your hands on the earth, palms facing the ceiling. For Shalabhasana, locust, there are stages. You go where you need to go. Start by pressing the tops of your feet down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Maybe lift your head and chest, just like Sphinx pose. Squeeze your shoulders. Maybe lift your feet. Hug your thighs in. Squeeze your glutes to help them lift. Maybe lift your hands. Turn your thumbs toward the sky. Just like you did in that hands and knees balancing pose, press everything or hug everything in first and then lift. Imagine you could lift your belly button off the mat. It won't lift, but your heart will. Yes, all right. Exhale, lower all the way down. Turn your head to the right. Let your left cheek, left ear rest. Let all the effort in your body release. Just feel that sense of belly down connection to the earth, breath, in tune with the rhythms of the earth. Then bring your head back to center. For this next pass at a belly down back bend, you can take Shalabhasana like we just did, or if you want to make it a little spicier, bring your arms out in front of you on the mat. Karate chop the earth with your pinky fingers. Maybe rest your forehead or your chin. As always, there are stages. Press your feet down, hug your shoulders in. Inhale, maybe lift your head and chest. Press your pinkies into the mat, just like you did when you were doing that balance on hands and knees. Drag your hands backward to plug your shoulders in. Maybe lift your feet. Squeeze them toward each other. Squeeze everything to lift your legs. Oh yeah. Maybe lift your hands. Hug in first, then lift. Beautiful. Belly on the earth, everything grounded, but we're flying at the same time. Okay, release. Turn your head to the left. Let your right cheek, right ear rest. Nice work. Feel your heartbeat being reflected back to you from the earth. Okay, one more time. Turn your chin back to center. Here you have the option of coming back to your Sphinx pose. So coming to your elbows again for this belly down back bend. Or maybe bring your hands underneath your shoulders for Cobra pose. All the work we just did, we're just putting it together here. Press your feet into the mat. Squeeze your glutes. Inhale, lift your head and chest first. Lift a little more than you push. Imagine you could lift your belly button off the earth to give you that little lift. Then maybe add a little weight to your hands. But keep your hips on the mat. Keep bending your elbows. Heart forward, shoulders back. Good, those strong belly down breaths. You got it. Okay, lower down. Turn your toes out toward either side of your sticky mat. Let your feet come wide. Stack one hand on top of the other.
Rest your chin or your forehead on this little homemade pillow. And we're going to do a little pranayama here, so a little breath practice called crocodile breathing, and it's just that belly down breathing. So you're going to inhale, big inhale, press your belly into the earth. Exhale with a little bit of power and pull your belly toward your spine. So you inhale and you press and expand. We're so conditioned to make our bellies small, but really take up space. Then you exhale, pull it navel to spine and release it all. Just feel that sense of deep connection, as if the rhythm of your breath could sync up with the rhythms of the earth as you lay with your heart and your belly on the ground. To me, this is so nice. It's one of the most grounding practices there is, just to literally lay on the earth and feel like I can take my deepest breaths. So if there's anything you want to release today, anything you want to walk away not carrying, this is a great time to imagine that you could just let it go to the earth. The earth is a magnificent recycler. She takes what we give her and brings us or gives us something new. So just a practice of release as we take 3 more breaths here. Then when you're ready, bring your hands under your shoulders. Turn your toes forward again. Press up to hands and knees. One more time, please press back to your downward facing dog. Navel to spine, hips to the sky, hands pressing forward. We just did some back bending, so down dog is a great way to neutralize the spine after that. Just notice how the back of your body feels. Ground by observing. Then this time, bend your knees, walk your hands back to meet your feet, come into your standing forward fold at the back of the mat. For the spine, let's just inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Just do that twice more, connecting with your breath. One more. Fold, bend your knees, tone your belly, and like that smoke rolling off of the sacred fire, one vertebrae at a time, you rise up. Standing. Come back to your favorite spot on the mat to balance. Whew, y'all, I am dirty, which means I'm grounded. I didn't even have to go outside to play in the dirt, so we love it. All right, so we couldn't do a grounding practice without a little bit of tree pose. So that's our final balancing pose of this series. You're gonna come back to that stance wherever you wanna stand with your feet close to touching or touching. You're gonna lift all 10 toes and hook them into the earth. You're gonna do that little navel to spine action to create one strong line of energy in your body. You're gonna find your drishti, your focal point, either right at your line of sight or right below. Then press some weight into your right foot. Lift your left heel. Turn your left knee and left toes out to the left. Walk your left heel in to touch your right ankle. You can bend your right knee the whole time and press into that right big toe. Standing leg is your grounding point. Now, press your left knee backward as you pull your left hip forward. Squeeze your glutes to help make that happen. This is tree pose, so this might be your pose right here. Or bring your foot to the inner edge of your calf. Or bring your foot to the inner edge of your thigh. Just please don't place your foot directly on top of your knee, for that's a little too much stress on the knee joint. Wherever you go, press your foot into your leg into your foot, that grounding energy of connection. You can take your hands to your heart, or you can reach your branches to the sky. That energy of being rooted, standing foot presses down, and then rising up, growing, expanding from there. Beautiful. If you move, good, you're a tree. I would expect you to move. Trees move. That's part of the practice, just moving with the wind of life as we continue to cultivate our roots. Okay, release. Shake it out.
Whew, I love a good dance break. Okay, back to your stance. One more time on the second side. Find your belly, find your feet, find your focal point. Then pick up your right heel. Turn your right knee and right toes out to the right. Walk your right heel in to touch your left ankle. You can bend your left knee the whole time as you press your left big toe down. This can be your tree pose, or foot to the calf, or foot to your inner thigh, just not directly on your knee. Rooting down to rise. Maybe hands come to your heart. Maybe branches reach up. Just press your right knee backward as you pull your hip forward. Find that strength and stability in your fine legs, and then grow from there. How are your feet? How's your breath? How are you? Excellent. Release. Shake it out. One final dance break. And then come all the way down to the mat. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just come to a seat. I'm going to use my blanket for my seat. So sometimes it feels really good to lift your hips up a little higher than your knees. It's kind to your low back and to your knees and your hips. And you can sit with your shins crossed in Sukhasana. You can cross one ankle, you can stack one ankle in front of the other in Siddhasana, or you can sit on your heels or on a block, or whatever allows you to lengthen your spine. It's really all you need here is a nice long spine. So now we're gonna do a little bit of pranayama. Again, a little bit of breath work to inspire grounding. And this is Brahmari breath, the bumblebee breath. And the yogis have taught that this breath is an instant cure for anxiety. And my teacher always jokes around about the fact that you don't hear the word instant a lot in yoga practice. It's all about steadiness, showing up, taking your time. But the idea is that this breath can make you feel different immediately. And I really do feel it. So Brahmari breath, we're making the sound of a bumblebee. We're humming. So we're using the vibration of sound to shake loose anything that feels tight, which is often the case when we're anxious, and to just kind of lift us up out of whatever is keeping us constricted with vibration. So I know that when I feel anxious, I am literally the opposite of grounded. I am all over the place. My energy is just high. So this breath is an anxiety relief, which means it's grounding, it's bringing us back into our bodies, into the moment, into the flow. So that's the idea. You can sit comfortably, rest your hands comfortably, and close your eyes if you'd like. Bring your tongue to the backs of your teeth so that the vibration can kind of resonate into your skull. And then we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale with a hum. Really getting all the air out. That's it. Deep breath in through the nose. Two more. Last time. Then just just allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm without having to force or change a thing. And again, we will do that grounding practice of observation. Just noticing, how did that practice make you feel? How do you feel in your body? What is your energy like? What are your emotions like? Your thoughts? As always, no judgment for whatever the answer may be. The observation is where the goodness is, for that grounds us fully into our present moment experience. And from this space of deep steadiness that practice cultivates, I'm going to lead us directly into a guided meditation. But please remember, it's your practice. No matter what I say, I'm just making suggestions. So if you'd like to do a few more stretches to really open up and cool down your body, please feel free. Take what your body needs. If you'd like to lie down on your back in any comfortable reclined position for a shavasana, please go there. But if you'd like, you can also stay here in this stillness, just holding the space in your comfortable seat for a little bit of contemplative practice to close off this yoga practice we've shared together. So just continuing to notice your breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. No matter what your practice looked like, you have done deep work because you have continuously been breathing this whole time. So you return to your breath as if it is an old friend that is greeting you with love, steadiness, and peace. And the breath truly is the ultimate grounding practice, because no matter where we are or what we're doing, whether we're on the yoga mat or in traffic, the breath is here. And when we breathe on purpose, it reminds us where we are and who we are. It gives us the space to decide how we want to move through the world, grounding ourselves into our own presence and power. So here you return to your breath as a sense of power. Grounding into your own present experience, just as you are. In this moment of stillness and quiet. And stillness, being still on purpose, is also an immensely grounding practice. I know that when I feel ungrounded, I feel like I'm just going and going. I'm doing 12 things at once. Everything is a whirlwind. Everything is fast. So to intentionally get still is to allow ourselves to be fully in this body, on this earth, in this life, and in this moment. So you give yourself this time and this space to fully enjoy your moment. Grounded and steady. Even if your mind wants to chatter, that breath, that grounding breath, is always here to bring you back, no matter how many times you have to use it. And from here, bring your awareness to the base of your spine where your tailbone meets the earth. Bring some awareness to your hips, your sits bones, your thighs, your ankles, your toes, everything that is touching the ground right now. Just notice it. Simply notice. Just breathe awareness into these tools, these body systems that keep us here on the earth. And just notice the feeling of your body reaching down for the earth reaching right back up to your body. Always, always, the breath is here to bring you back, no matter how many times you need to return to the moment. Just breathing awareness into your lower body, grounded and steady. And then from here, as you breathe into the crown of your head, the mantra, I am. As you exhale, bring your attention back to the base of your spine and say the mantra, here. Breathing to the crown, I am. To the tailbone, here. To the crown, I am. To the tailbone, here. And one more time, breathing to the crown, I am. To the tailbone, here. And gathering that grounded, steady awareness in towards yourself, please just draw your hands to your heart. You can bow your forehead towards your chest if you'd like, just bowing to your own practice. And to everyone who shares the yoga practice with us, past, present, and future. And before we close off the space of our practice by saying Namaste, I'd like to offer the meaning of Namaste to you as my beloved yoga teacher shared it with me. I see the light of consciousness in you. I see the soul in you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for practicing and for sharing your practice with me. If you benefited from this practice, feel free to leave me comments, subscribe. If you have any questions or you want to connect, you can find me at WildYogiThing on Instagram. You can send me an email. Feel free to reach out. I would love to hear from you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. You feel the steady and grounded nature of your soul, which is really who you truly are. I love you.